Peace and blessings, and welcome to the Butterfly at Perkins Center for the Arts. The butterfly was created in honor of Brother Blue. Brother Blue is an ancestor we honor. And Brother Blue was a storyteller like no other. And when I first met him when I was in school in Boston at Northeastern University. And he came in with butterflies on his hands and on his cheeks. Y'all know Brother Blue. I know many of my friends out there, attendees, Janice Curtis Green, Oprah William King, know Brother Blue. And the thought was this, that this forum would be a place for community storytelling, where storytellers could come from the community and share their stories around a theme. And I thought about the moth. And if you know the moth is 5 minutes, it's competitive, and it has to be personal story. Well, I'm a member of the National Association of Black Storytellers. We come from the African oral tradition. And if we think about storytellers being birthed out of the continent and stories coming from the continent and all over the world, in every place we tell stories. And these stories are folk tales and fairy tales and dilemma tales and all kinds of stories. Then the butterfly also honors those genres and the many ways that we as people share our values, our morals, our legacy, our history through stories. And so each month on the fourth Tuesday, we host the Butterfly with a theme. And this evening, the theme is funny business. So we are going to have a ball this evening, I know. We welcome you to chat with us. We welcome you to write in Facebook, as we have Jacinia in the background, and she'll let us know what people are saying on Facebook. And we have 4 fabulous tellers this evening for funny business. We have this evening Janice Curtis Green. We also have Oprah William King. We have Michelle Russo, and back with us again is Namisha Ladva. And we begin this wonderful evening by putting Janice Curtis Green in the spotlight. Janice Curtis Green, okay, she's a friend of mine. Absolutely, I adore her. Janice Curtis Green is the president of the National Association of Black Storytellers. So we are so honored to have her here this evening. She is a fabulous teller, whether she's telling historical tales, she puts you on the edge of the seat. This evening, she will make us laugh. Here is Janice Curtis Green with an E on the end.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't know you were out there. I was just looking at my fashion magazine, from Chico's, and I noticed that jumpsuits are back. They are all the rage, but I won't be running out to get one. Because for me to wear a jumpsuit violates Janice's fashion rule number 7. And let me tell you how I came to that conclusion. It was, 1979. January, I know, because it was cold. The holidays were just over, and I had just had my birthday. I'm not going to tell you which one. My birthday is January the 2nd, which is the absolute worst day to have a birthday. You see, it's cold. People are all broke from Christmas, and they're hungover from New Year's, so nobody wants to party. But I make sure that when I'm out shopping for other people's Christmas presents, I buy myself a birthday present, and I have it professionally wrapped in birthday wrapping paper, because there's nothing worse than having your birthday gift in Christmas wrapping paper because you know then somebody just held back one of your Christmas presents and gave it to you for your birthday. Well, it was a Friday night, and my husband and sons had gone somewhere, God knows where, with the Boy Scouts, something called the Klondike Derby, where you go and camp out in the snow. Ooh. And I was left home alone, which is a scary thought. My sister Joan called me up. She said, "Hey, girl, we are all gathering at Pete's place, and we want to celebrate your birthday." Well, I'm game for a party. And Pete's place, well, that's sort of a inner city cheers, you know, where everybody knows your name. We know Pete, the owner, Louise, the barmaid, who'll give you a little extra in your drink for a bigger tip, and Roland, who keeps the music hopping and can dance better in high heels than any other 5'10" linebacker that I know. Well, we were all prepared to have a good time, so I wanted to get dressed up to celebrate my birthday. So I went into the closet and got out that box that's wrapped in birthday presents, and I put on a brand new jumpsuit that I had purchased for myself. And this bad boy, this was sharp. It was navy blue. It had a big collar I could turn up. I picked my big Angela Davis fro out to the max, had big loop earrings. The jumpsuit had snaps all down the front pockets. You know they had pockets. And it had slimming legs and tapered at the ankle to give me a little bit of height, because when you're 5 feet, you need a little bit of height. It had elastic in the waist to show off my hourglass figure, and I was ready to roll. I had to have just the right shoes because, you know, I'm a fashionista. So I picked out a pair of red high heel pumps. Woo! I looked at myself in the mirror, and I was fine, you know. Oh, but it was cold outside. So I looked under the Christmas tree, and there was that leather jacket that my husband had purchased for me for Christmas. 3/4 length, faux fur collar. I put that on, and I was ready to rock and roll. But I wanted to make an entrance. So I decided to delay my entry, and when I got there, you know, I said it was in the city, so there was no big parking lot. I had to park 3 blocks away. But no matter, I pulled up that faux fur collar and strutted my stuff and came into Pete's place, and all the heads turned. I waved, "What's up?" and headed upstairs to where the party was going on, my party. I saw my sister, all my friends, and the music, was pumping. Word up, I love me some Cameo. And I was dancing. People were lining up drinks for me, whiskey sours, because it was my birthday party. And I was drinking and dancing and had a good time, and I kind of ignored the fact that I had to go to the restroom. You know, young bladders and all that thing, because I was having too good a time to stop. But then the time came where I knew I really, really had to go. So I rushed into the ladies' room, and you have to understand, this is a little neighborhood place, so the public restroom isn't, well, the most sanitary. You know, when you can hear your shoes go when you step on the floor. So like most women, I don't want any part of my fabulous jumpsuit to touch the ground in a public restroom. So I get in the stall, and it's rather small, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to go without taking off this jumpsuit. I can't get it off. It's tapered legs. I have high heel shoes. I can't step on the floor. I get a brilliant idea. If I can just unsnap it down a little bit past my waist and reach for it with my right hand, I can hold it with that hand and squat over the toilet. And I still can go without dropping my jumpsuit on the floor. And ladies, gentlemen, you don't know anything about this, but to go to a public restroom, there is a technique. It's called the public restroom squat. And that is, for you gentlemen who don't know, I know all you ladies know, it's when you have to squat down low enough that you don't miss your target, but high enough that you don't get splashed back. And so there I was in my public restroom squat with my oh gosh, I really had to go, with my high heel shoes on, with my jumpsuit wrapped over in one arm, and balancing myself with my hand on the wall of the stall. But I guess the euphoria of letting my bladder empty, or maybe it was one too many whiskey sours, I really don't know, caused me to lose my balance in those high heel shoes in my public restroom squat. And I began to teeter. Now, I didn't want to end up in the toilet, so I tried to balance myself with the other hand while holding my jumpsuit, and I put my hand against the wall and noticed that I had dropped my jumpsuit in the toilet. And there was the top of my jumpsuit in the public restroom. And I tried to squeeze onto my Kegel muscles, to stop the flow. And I picked it out of the toilet, and there it was, after having been in a public restroom toilet. And even if it is yours, it's still urine. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. I couldn't put that thing back on my body, but if I could just get to the spigot outside of the stall and wash it off a little bit. Most of you guys say rinse it off. I'm from Baltimore, so I say rinse it off. I'd be good to go. But I had to take the whole jumpsuit off. So I pulled a Mr. Miyoshi Karate Kid stand, and I lifted one foot out of that high heel shoe and balanced on the other, like, ooh. And I took that one foot out of the jumpsuit and took it off and put my foot back in the heel. And then I did it with the other foot, and put it on. And there I'm standing, and I'm having the bottom part of my jumpsuit in one hand and the top part in another, because I don't want the top to contaminate the bottom. And I peeped out of the stall, and I walked over to and now, it wouldn't be one with a speaker so I could just turn on the water. It was one of those where you pump it and you get about 30 seconds of a shot of water, and then it stops. So there I'm pumping and washing and pumping and washing. And I try to get some soap, and it's that old green industrial soap. And I'm trying to wash it. And then the door to the ladies' room opens, and in walks a lady. And she's so drunk, I don't think she even notices that I'm standing there in my skivvies doing my laundry. So I'm pumping and washing and pumping and washing and wringing and pumping and smelling. Oh, no, I'm pumping and washing. And then the ladies' room door opens again. And then comes a lady who seems a little too interested that I'm standing there in my skivvies doing my laundry, if you know what I'm saying. So I figure I better get out of there before she comes out of that stall. So I go over to the dryer. So happens it's one of those air blow dryers. And I try to dry it the best I can. And then doing my best Karate Kid in reverse, put the bottom of the jumpsuit back on. And then I put the top to that damp jumpsuit back on my body. And the eau de parfum of urine and industrial soap is not smelling real good. But I suck it up because I have my pride after all. Well, I did, but I have it now. And I put the jumpsuit back on, damp and all. I take a deep breath. I snap it up. I turn the collar back up, shoulders back, head high, chest forward. And I walk out of that restroom like nothing is wrong. It's dark in the club, so nobody notices that the jumpsuit is a little damp. And there's so much funk going on from all that dancing and drinking. Nobody knows that I smell like pee and industrial soap. and so that nobody will think that something went wrong because I've been in there a long time doing my laundry. I have to have one more dance.
Hoping it would dry.
And, of course, I had to have one more drink. I had been through a lot. And then I tell everybody that I've got to go. And they beg me to stay. I say, no, I've had enough. I don't want to drink and drive. You can make up anything when you want to get the heck out of there. And then I look and I see my coat, my brand-new leather coat with the faux fur collar. I was not putting my coat on over top of that nasty jumpsuit. So I throw it unobtrusively over my arm and tell everybody I'm cool. And I go downstairs and wave, and I know it's cold out there, but I wasn't prepared for the fact that it had started snowing. And if you remember, I am 3 blocks away. So I pulled the jumpsuit up around my neck, and I still had my jacket over my shoulder, over my arm, because I'm not putting it back on. And I proceed to run 3 blocks in those high heel shoes, and I felt like FloJo sprinting to the finish line. And of course, it was back in the day, so there was no automatic beep beep door open. So I'm standing there freezing, trying to open my car door, and I get in. I throw that coat in the back seat, and I sit on the edge so that I don't have to lean against the upholstery in that nasty jumpsuit. And I turn the heat all the way up, and I wait for the defroster to melt that snow. And I go home, and I get into the house. I take the jumpsuit off and all the undergarments and put them in a plastic garbage bag. Tie the top and sit it out on the patio. I figure I can take it to a dumpster tomorrow morning before Paris and the boys return. And since he never knew I had it, I don't have to explain where it went. And I take a shower, the longest, hottest shower that I have ever taken in my life. And so now you know why I have Janice's fashion rule number 7. And that rule states, if you're young enough to wear fashion the first time it comes around, then you, your gray hair, your sagging boobs and butt, your varicose veins, and most importantly, your weak bladder are too old to wear it when it comes back. Word up.
Thank you, Janet. It was wonderful, 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 wonderful. I'm crying here. You know, it's funny being on, digital and trying not to make extra noise. But I am crying. I'm dying here. That was a wonderful, wonderful story. And Sharon Holly says that is too funny. And anybody, you can write in the chat and we'll share. And anybody who wants to respond to Janice on Facebook, because I'm sure there's somebody out here that has some kind of experience, something like that. And so if any comments you like on that. So we want to thank Janice. Again, Janice is our fearless leader at the National Association of Black Storytellers. And before we end today, before we go to the next teller, Janice, do you want to tell us a little bit about the National Association of Black Storytellers Festival that's coming up?
The festival, we are undaunted by coronavirus. We will have a festival, but we still don't know whether it will be live in Richmond, Virginia, or virtual. And our dynamic festival director, Mr. Dylan Pritchett, former president, has prepared for both. So we will know in another 2 weeks whether the Omni Hotel will be able to accommodate us or if they will allow us to invoke the force majeure, the act of God clause, and it depends on what's happening in Virginia. It doesn't matter what's happening in your state, but it's what's happening in Virginia, whether we will be live or virtual. Look for the announcements, because as soon as we hear, we'll be able to hit that switch and go one way, and as Mr. Butler would say, one way or t'other. And the dates are November the 19th through the 22nd, so the dates won't change, the fun won't change, the stories won't change, because the National Association of Black Storytellers is strong, and we will persevere.
Thank you so much. And you will check us at www.nabsinc.org, which is always, our executive director is always on that, and we'll keep you up to date. And our executive director, Venora Legault, says to you, I am screaming, Janice. And then Gwendolyn Napier said, I am going to give my jumpsuit away. And I know we won't be wearing any jumpsuits, and I won't be wearing. I won't be wearing them to Perkins Center for the Arts, and we are so pleased to present this storytelling program, and so pleased that Janice is here, and our next storyteller, who is from New Jersey. And so our next storyteller, we are going to spotlight Michelle Russo. Michelle Russo is the executive director of Young Audiences of New Jersey and Eastern Pennsylvania. And she has just been yearning to tell some comedic stories. This is her first time actually telling on a storytelling platform, and we are so excited. She's a wonderful spirit and working harder than ever, working for artists through young audiences, but also as we are living our folk life, and this is folk life and folklore. So here we go with Michelle Russo.
Thank you so much. I am really humbled and thankful to be here. I am a super beginner storyteller, and I love the jumpsuit story. I also will never wear a jumpsuit for many reasons, similar. So the story I'm going to tell is really, Queen, you mentioned values. And so the story I'm telling is about someone who I think helped me understand my own values. So this is an early memory. I'm little, 4 or 5 years old. I'm not really sure, 6 maybe. And the door of the shop opens and I step in, and the floor in front is this black and white chessboard sort of tile floor that you would see sort of in the 50s and 60s. And to my left is the counter, shiny glass, like super clean. I just remember it being really clean. I'm not even sure who I'm with, if it's one of my parents or an aunt or an uncle or a cousin, I'm not really sure who brought me there. But what was most important to me was that I was in my grandfather's butcher shop. And my grandfather was my memories of being there was him being the most assured and confident and the most sort of in his element. His name was Dominic Pizzamenti. And so this is a little bit of a portrait of Dominic Pizzamenti. So the truth of the matter is that the theme tonight is funny business. My grandfather was super serious, and that's kind of where I feel like I get my seriousness. But he had these ways of being funny and these family stories of that would come up again and again about how he was sort of both serious and funny at the same time. Like many people, he came to this country when he was young, 11, 12, 13, immigrated from Italy with his family and met my grandmother's family actually on the boat. That's how the families got together. They eventually married. The rest is history. I'm sitting here today because of that. My grandfather was, like I said, just very serious and very, you wouldn't say bossy because he wouldn't actually boss anybody around, but he sort of had this presence. He didn't have to say much. He didn't have to say really anything. He just had to sort of look at you and you knew if something was up or if something was wrong or if you did something wrong. You just sort of could sense him there. And he had this sort of, I'm not sure what it is, but he sort of commanded spaces. He sort of commanded the dining room table in a certain way, very quiet without really saying too much. But if he wanted something across the table, he would just say, "How's that sausage looking over there?" And then whoever was closest to the sausage would just sort of scramble and pass it over to him. Or if he wanted to, "How's the bread looking?" He wouldn't actually request anything. He would just sort of comment, and then it was just understood that that had to be brought to my grandfather immediately. And so he had this just way about him. And then, on top of that sort of seriousness and his sort of command, there were these little stories of how in his shop, he would, I don't even know if this is true, that he would, as he was weighing someone's order, if he thought they had the money and could afford it, he would just push down a little bit on the scale so that he would charge them just a little bit more. They wouldn't really notice the discrepancy, just enough that he could, get a little something more out of them. I don't know if that's true or not. It's a good story though. There's other stories similar to, I wasn't going to include this, but because Janice talked about smells and cold and everything else like that, it feels like an important story to tell, which was the family car was used for delivering the meat. And my uncle, when he was a teenager and wanted to like go out with his friends and party and do whatever they did, would bring the car, but it smelled because it was always had meat filled with it. So in the middle of the winter, they would roll the windows down and pretend they weren't cold at all. So they were trying to air the car out, because if they were going to pick up girls or whatever, they would want to just make sure the car didn't smell. So they would just play cool, even though the car like totally smelled. Was another little funny story. And he would, back to my grandfather, in terms of his profession, his career, he would bring that into the home. And so much of what he did was about nourishing people and feeding people. So if we were having a big family meal, obviously he was the one who would carve the turkey or the roast or whatever it was. And it was like, you just knew everybody cleared the kitchen. And he took out his knife and he took out his sharpening tool, and he would sharpen in this very methodical, very careful way. He would carve the meat. There would not be a single little piece of meat left on that carcass. Everything was off of it. It was like a work of art. And then, obviously he would bring it to the table and feed everybody. And he just, wouldn't waste anything. Now, in addition to all this like serious stuff about him, he loved I Love Lucy. He loved the Three Stooges. Anything that was like slapstick, falling on banana peels, slapping each other, like ridiculousness, that was his comedy. He would just howl. And when I was a kid, wrestling, like professional wrestling, became this big thing. And he loved like Hulk Hogan and Jake the Snake and all these professional wrestlers, because he knew, unlike us kids who thought maybe it was real, we weren't sure. He knew it was just this thing there for entertainment. And he just would howl and howl because of how ridiculous it was. And he would do things for his grandchildren just to entertain us. So he would take an orange and peel it in this certain way that it would make this like elephant nose thing that you could put on your face. And you had to do it all in one piece. You would peel the orange, it would just be one piece. The whole peel would come off in this one piece, but shaped like this orange, this elephant face. And he did that for us all the time. It was one of those things that costed nothing, just was his time and his talent that gave that to his grandchildren. And he also played Santa Claus every year. And I have to tell you, you might have a picture of what that would look like in your head, but I have to tell you that his Santa Claus costume was really more like, it was very unconvincing as a costume. It was more like flannel pajamas that looked like a Santa costume. So, but he took that role so seriously. He played it year after year, as long as we believed. And then probably a few years after we already knew that Santa wasn't real, he played that role for his grandchildren because he knew what kind of joy it brought to us. And so, the simple truth of Dominic Pizzamenti, my grandfather, is that he created this business. He, with his brother, he fed his family with that business, his children. He made it possible for his children to purchase homes in the suburbs, move out of the city, and raise their families. He made it possible for me to go to college, for all of his grandchildren to go to college. And he fed us. He fed probably thousands of people with his business over the years. And so I think about me, that little girl, walking into that shop and just feeling that I was really held by him, and knowing that I could ask him for a piece of cheese, a piece of bologna, whatever it was I wanted, he would slice it just for me.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle, that was a wonderful story. That was just a magnificent story. And it had the humor was just so warm. And do you know how to peel that orange?
I never really learned.
Did anybody pick that up at all?
I bet you my brother can do it, because my brother is actually a chef.
Oh, okay.
But I think that's a worthy thing for me to learn.
Wonderful, wonderful story. So I want to see if any other tellers have any comments for Michelle, or you want to say anything about Michelle. And I'm going to check the chat while we're at it. See if what people might be saying. Great warm humor from your dad.
Wonderful. So nice to share a family story that was so sweet. Like I know your granddad.
Maria Russo. Who's that? Who's Maria?
That's my sister.
Your sister.
Yay.
She's done it.
She says she can do it.
Yeah,
She can do it.
Yeah, she can feel the orange.
Awesome.
That's great. That's a wonderful, wonderful story. So yeah, and I like his subtlety of how he said something, bring something to the table. You know, that was awesome. That was awesome. Okay.
How's that ham doing over there?
Right. All right.
That's nice.
Round of applause. Jacinia, dude, let us know if we have any comments coming off of Facebook at all. Just let us know.
We had some comments for Janice. A lot of compliments for the jumpsuit. So Sherry Wilkins weighed in and said that jumpsuit story is so real, loved it. Shell Wilson shares the same birthday as Janice. Cheryl Briard, what a birthday memory. That was so funny. Thank you, Janice. Laura Jean Marchesi said, hooray, Michelle Russo. Carabas, rule number 7 is why I'll never wear a mini skirt. And Laura Jean says, I want to see that elephant.
Wonderful. Lindsay Roberts gave an applause. And Martin Farewell says, lovely, vivid portrait of your grandfather. Feel like I've met him. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So our next storyteller, we're going to bring him to the spotlight. And that would be Oba William King. And Oba are you back in Chicago now? Oba, are you still in Texas?
No, I'm in the Lone Star State. I'm in Texas.
So you're still in Texas, okay.
Yes.
Met Oba through the National Association of Black Storytellers. Oba is always one who likes to train us on our voice, and he does workshops for youth, and he is a fabulous teller who tells across the country as well, and one of the most popular storytellers from in the National Association of Black Storytellers, has told at many festivals around the country. And so Oba is going to rock us out.
Well, I appreciate this opportunity and the Perkins Center for the Arts and us being able to share a full realm of stories from tradition to personal tales and funny, humorous tales. And I really love to play my drum. I haven't been able to play my drum because of the format that we're in, but we love doing the drum circles. I thought maybe I could share something that has a lot of rhythm that you all can like. Something's in my heart, though. It's really hard to continue to share this humor when you get all of these feelings that are backed up. My heart feels like pouring out as they're continuing to shoot Black people in the street. And we're working through that. So maybe the music will help us as I play a little bit of Howlin' Wolf's blues. And I'll take you back a little bit to the story of the signifying monkey. Am I all right?
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Wait. Signifying monkey, stay up in your tree. Signifying monkey, stay up in your tree. You always lie, you signify. You better not monkey with me. Shed the monkey to the library in the jungle one day. There's a great big elephant. He going round the way. He is going round talking. I'm sorry to say, he's talking about your mama in a skinless way. Easy. He's talking about your mama and your grandma too. He don't show no kindness, not even a little bit, and no respect for you. Now, look at here. You weren't here, and I sure am glad. But what he said about your sister, oh, that made me mad. Y'all say, signifying monkey, stay up in your tree. Signifying monkey, stay up in your tree. You always lie, you signify. You better not monkey with me. That line said, I'll show him. I'm gonna rip that elephant, rip him limb from limb. And then he shook the jungle. Took off like a shot from a 44. He found that elephant, y'all, right over there, where the tall grass grows. He says, come here, you go ugly so-and-so. I'm gonna punch you in your long nose. The elephant, he looked at that line. He had that face of surprise. You might want to go pick on somebody your own size. The lion didn't listen, I didn't, y'all. He made a pass, and right then, that's when that elephant, he took a pose like karate, and he whooped that lion and knocked him in the grass. The lion roared. He jumped up from the ground. And that's right then when that elephant, he got to hit him beside his head. And the elephant, he really went to town. I'm telling y'all, each one of y'all, he whooped that lion. Pow, 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 for the rest of the day. I was there. I promise I don't see how that lion got away. But he dragged himself home. More dead than alive. And right then, when he got there, over there in the grass, and that's when that monkey got to signifying. That monkey said, what is that beat up mess over there, huh? What's that mess I see? Don't tell me, wait. Is that you, Lyron? Ooh, do tell. It looks like you got your head beaten and you got knocked around like to a fairly way. Oh, I can see right now. He gave you a whipping. He gave you a whipping that was rough enough. You supposed to be kind of the jungle. Now, ain't that there? Ain't that some stuff? You overgrown alley cat. Don't you roar. I will jump down out of this here tree and beat you side your head some more. That monkey, he started laughing. He was jumping up and down. It was right then, his foot missed a branch and he fell to the ground. That lion was on him with all 4 feet about to grind that monkey into some monkey meat and make a monkey sandwich. And the monkey looked up at that lion. He had them tears in his eyes. Please, Mr. Lyman, I apologize. I meant no harm. Won't you please let me go? If you do, I promise I really will. I'm gonna tell you something you really need to know. Signify monkey, stay up in your tree. Signify monkey, stay up in your tree. You was always lying, you signify. You better not monkey with me. Well, that line, he stepped on over so he could listen to what that monkey had to say. And then that monkey, he scampered up a tree. He scampered up a tree all the way to the top and got away. He stood up there, he said, what I wanted to tell you, you old skinny, you fool with me? I'm gonna stick that elephant on you again. The lion looked up at that monkey. The lion said, you shy. if you, your monkey children, your monkey mama, your monkey wife, your monkey cousins, if any of you monkeys want to stay alive, up in them trees. He said it like that. It's where you better stay. And that's where they are to this here, that day. Everybody sing, signifying monkey. Stay up in your tree. Say it like that. Signifying monkey. Stay up in your tree. You was always lying, signifying. You was always lying and signifying. You always lying. Better not monkey with me. You better not monkey with me. You better not monkey with me. Chicken pie monkey. That's why the monkey stay up in the tree to this very day, y'all. Signifying monkey. That's some old school Black storytelling from the tradition of Black storytelling. And just add a little music to it. From Howlin' Wolf. I learned the story from Oscar Brown Jr. And it was found in a book of this compilation of Negro literature. Langston Hughes and County Cullen and poets to come from way back in the day. But that signifying monkey, that was a traditional piece that you'd hear all the time. Miles Mabley, Pigmeat Markham, Red Fox. Yeah. You'd hear the Funny Cats. Beautiful African-American artists. Put stuff like that together and it lasts forever.
Wow. Wow.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Oba, that was some folklore right there. You know? And folklore coming through the Folk Life Center at Perkins Arts. That was some folklore right there taking us back. Sharon Holly says, just expressions carried this. You rock, Oba. And Janice, she could say what she wanted to say. If she just unmuted, you can say what you wrote in the chat, Janice. And
my brother would say, "You's a bad boy, Oba. Oba's a bad boy."
Bless y'all.
Right, Namisha, you can unmute yourself and say whatever you like.
Thank you.
Oba, your voice is an instrument.
Yeah.
Ah, bless you. Thank you.
You carry everything. It's amazing. I feel honored I got to hear you. There's no way just reading that story would feel the same way.
I say all the time that, you know, with all of the books of the African American literature, I have the people who could fly somewhere really close. I'm working on a story. It's all different now, but yeah, our job is to take those stories out of the books, set them free, give them life, let them fly.
Oh, but my husband Paris said, like Kinderman, call the police. Paris
call the
police. Paris is right. He came out of the basement to hear you, Over. He didn't come out of the basement to hear me. He came out to hear you.
He risked his life to come because he know he ain't supposed to come out that basement. He risked his life. Tell that brother I love him for that.
Just to hear you.
Yeah, right. Benoit Legault says, "Yeah, Oba." And Gwen Napier says she enjoyed that Oba love. She sending lots of love from Atlanta. And Oba, you were correct. You were right when you opened up. That's Jaliyah, my brother. There's no way as Black storytellers that we can separate ourselves. We are storytellers 20.
Oh, you froze, Mama. I wish you could unfreeze her.
Oh.
Lord, unfreeze her.
Oh, did I freeze again?
Unfreeze her. I know.
Okay.
And we all agree. And even sometimes words aren't necessary. We find that rhythm. We are connected, all of us, like leaves to a tree. So we all feel this hardship we're going through, and we're looking at it and say, but you know, this mighty struggle is where change comes. There's going to be systemic change coming out of this, but it's like when a volcano erupts. It's not just and then it's done. It's got to be mighty, mighty powerful to catch everybody's attention and set us up walking on this right path. There's a path we're supposed to be on. We've been fooling ourselves. But You got cut off, sister, while you were talking.
Oh, I know. Actually, I lost a part of you because I guess my connection seems to be unstable today, but we're still here and we are connected. And the thing about it is that you're always correct with Jaliyah. Always correct with Jaliyah, and we cannot separate that. And the piece about this too is, Oba, that we know that healing for us and our folklore, and you just ripped that folklore. Our folklore is part of the healing and knowing who we are. Because part of the thing about anti-racism is those who have to learn the piece about anti-racism. But for us, we have to be out there and tell the stories to lift up the effects of racism.
Yes,
right?
yes,
So, and that's what we do. And healing and the humor is part of that as well. So thank you again, my brother.
Blessings.
All right.
Thanks. It's happy to
All
be here.
right. All right. So we're going to have our final teller for today. And if I go in and out, I seem to be able to get back in. And we're going to have Namisha Ladva come to the spotlight. Now, Namisha is one who is a moth connoisseur. She actually wins battles at the moth. And last time she visited us and was she told an awesome story. Last time that she visited us, she had to leave to go to the moth to compete, and she won that one as well. And and she's going to come back again, I think, next month for Dream. But Namisha is about to set it off. Namisha.
Hi, everyone. It's such an honor to be here with this particular group of storytellers. I feel like my heart is bigger from just being with you all tonight. And so I'm really grateful. Thank you for having me back. And it's interesting, we talked a little bit about racism. I'm becoming more and more aware that while I have suffered from racism, I don't experience anti-Blackness. And that those are two different things, and that for me, it's important to speak up when I see that in my community. And so I'm having some difficult conversations, and I just feel grateful that you included me here tonight. So this happened. So I was about 12 years old. My family moved from England to America, and I went to different schools for 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. But finally, in 10th grade, I'm at the school from which I know I will graduate. So I try out for the school play. And I am cast as Helena in Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. And this is very good news, because Helena is the girl who chases everyone and no one chases her back. But the person she chases the most is Lysander. And the boy playing Lysander is this kid named, I'm not making this up, Randy. Now, Randy is a black leather jacket, smoke in the bathroom, rebel kind of boy. And I am a JCPenney sale rack calculus tutor kind of girl. So I'm pretty nervous, but tantalized at the same time. But here's the problem. I need to get permission from my parents to actually be in the play. So I start with my mother. She's in her room folding laundry. I walk in and I say, Mom. And before I say anything else, she's like, no, the answer is no. I said, how do you know I want something? She says, am I right? Yeah, but still, Mom, listen, I would like to be in the school play. No. Mom, please, I need activities for college. And she says, no. You help your father in the restaurant, you help your mother with laundry, that is activity enough, okay? No. Oh, Mom, please. And she says, and I said, Mom, it's Shakespeare. And Shakespeare will make me look smart on my college applications. And she looks at me and she says, you tell your college people about some Indian writers, okay? You think only Shakespeare can make you look smart? No. You tell them about Rabindranath Tagore. You tell them about Tulsidas. You could tell them about Meera. Mira was your favorite when you were a little girl, huh? Mira, I'm like, Mom, yes. I could tell them about Mira because Mira, she wrote poetry and she wrote music and she performed. Mom, like Mira was a performer. She was an artist. And she looks at me, she's like, no, Mira wrote poetry and made music because she loved God. She loved Krishna. How can you hear the right story and get completely wrong idea, huh? And then she gets serious. She says, look, listen to me, Beta. You're not such a little girl anymore. What do you think people will say when you are on stage and you are doing Shakespeare? You think they will say, oh, very good, very good. There is a girl who knows Shakespeare. No. Beta, they will say, there is an Indian girl trying to be white. You are who you are, and you should be taking pride in that. And I look at her, and I know she's made up her mind. And this is not how that conversation was supposed to go. So I know I need to change my tactics and mobilize the patriarchy. I have to ask my dad. But this time, I am better prepared. So I walk in, script in hand. Daddy, no, there are things in this play that you would like. No, there's really, just listen. There's a part in the beginning, yeah, where a father brings his daughter to the king because she's being disobedient and she won't agree to marry the man that he's picked out for her. And then the king talks sense into the disobedient girl. So Dad, let me just read this one part. So I get it ready, take it out, I'm all so this is the king talking to the disobedient girl. To you, your father should be as a god, one that composed your beauties, and one to whom you are but as a form in wax, within his power to mold. I mean, Daddy, right? I mean, the play is saying, yeah, like that a girl, like a daughter is, you know, like a ball of wax to be molded and Daddy, please. I got in already. I got in the play. I'm in the play already, Daddy. And he looks at me and he says, where did you learn not to ask first? You are too American. You're also a very bad ball of wax. And he starts to laugh. And I know I got him. So I get to be in the play. I start to go to practices. I start to learn my lines. I start to hang out with Lysander. And there's this one day we are in rehearsal and the director's telling us like which scene to start. And I let him know that I know what scene we're talking about. And I say, okay, yes, I know. This is the scene where Helena comes in. I come in, yeah, and I'm going to find Lysander on the ground. And oh, yeah, he's asleep because the fairies have put magic love potion on him. And so when he wakes up, he's gonna wake up and he's gonna fall in love with Helena. He's gonna fall in love with me. And then the director says what he wants to happen. And I look at him and I'm like, so when Lysander wakes up, he's gonna take my hand and you want him to actually kiss my hand, like kiss it? And he says, yeah. And I freeze because this is only the second time in my entire life as a human being that a boy has to like touch me. And I freak out and I'm transported to a day back when I was a little girl in England. And I'm about 10 years old and I'm on the playground and this boy named Simon has agreed to play chase with the girls. It's a very big deal. Everyone is playing. Now, I have not actually been invited to play because that's not how that playground worked. But I want to play. And so I screw up all my energy, and I get my courage together, and I walk up to Simon and I say, Simon, I want to play. And Simon turns around, blue eyes sparkling, blonde hair glinting in the sun, and he says, no, you smell like curry. Go away. And he starts to leave. And I look at him desperate, and I'm like, no, wait. I have an idea. No, wait, I do. I have a very good idea. And I tell him, so if anyone catches me, yeah? If anyone catches me, no one ever has to touch me, yeah? No one has to touch me. So on that day, when I was 10, I got to play. And at that time, it felt like a victory that I was included. But looking back, I know that was not a victory at all. Back on the stage with Lysander, I'm thinking about that, and I really am afraid that he will reject me in front of my castmates, and I want to avoid that at all costs. So I tell him, Lysander, Randy, listen, it doesn't matter what the director said, okay, yeah? When you wake up, just like take my hand and just like air kiss, like above it, just air kiss, yeah? And he's like, okay. I'm like, relieved, and I'm relieved and a tiny bit disappointed, but it's okay. I know my dad didn't want any funny business, so we're good. So we start to run the scene. I walk in and I see Lysander on the ground, and I say my line. I said, Lysander, on the ground, dead or asleep. I see no blood, no wound. Lysander, good sir, if you live, awake. I shake him, and he takes my hand, and he does not air kiss me. He actually kisses me. Then there's this warm feeling that starts, and then he kisses my wrist, and this warm feeling expands, and it gets a little bit higher on my arm, and I'm feeling very hot, and there are all these teenage hormones just like running through my body. He gets to my elbow, to my upper arm. By the time he's at my shoulder, I literally throw my head back and offer the flesh of my young, nubile teenage neck, and I'm ready to spontaneously bust. That's when I hear, stop! Right. Wasn't supposed to go that way. That's the director telling us to cool it down. I'm really embarrassed, and I am shaking, and I am thinking maybe my parents were right. This was a stupid idea, and now I had this happen, and I'm really embarrassed. I don't know what to do. And I look at Lysander, and he looks at me, and we smile at each other. And then I know what I'm going to do next. I look up at the director and I say, okay, yes, I understand now. But don't you think we should run the scene again?
Teenage hormones. I love that. I love it. I love it. Teenage hormones going all through.
Yeah. Wow, that was glorious. Thank you so much. And it's just like, again, we got that healing piece in it. That story was loaded. It was loaded as, you know, and healing, but it was loaded with cultural awareness and wow. Thank you, Namisha. That was awesome. Jacinia, do we have any comments from Facebook?
Yes, we do. They were all great. I just wanted to say that before I moved on. Everyone was really great. I was laughing behind the scenes. Michelle Wilson said, Oba William King and Howling Wolf make me want to howl with laughter.
Yay.
A great use of story to change the mood. Kara said, ba 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 bum. And for Namisha, she wrote, Michelle Wilson wrote, good use of reverse psychology.
Yeah, that was.
And Kara also wrote, reliving youth through Namisha's eyes.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
We have Wow Greats from Venora and Awesome, Remembering My First Kiss,
Yes.
coming from Gwen. Just awesome storytelling this evening. I wanted to also go back to Michelle and want to give you the platform to share anything that you want to share about young audiences and the work that you're doing with artists. Here we are with artists on this virtual platform, and coming from Perkins Center for the Arts with the Butterfly, which used to be live. But Michelle's doing a lot of work with artists as well. So did you want to share anything or anything at all about young audiences?
Sure. Briefly, Young Audiences, New Jersey, Eastern PA. We, our work is bringing artists into schools for performance, workshop, residency, professional learning for teachers, and all manner of arts education programming. So we are currently doing everything we can to prepare for virtual education environments for the coming school year. And our website is yanjep.org. And please connect with us if you want to know about how to bring us to your school. And
what is that website again?
yanjep.org.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Michelle.
Oh, I just saw chats. Chats is up here. You can just push that button and then they come on your screen.
That's right. And so we have some other people chiming in. We have all the stories were a much needed shot in the arm. Thanks all. That was from Sandra Williams Bush. Sent that message. Yeah. So I want to thank you again. The stories were phenomenal. It is recorded on Facebook and it's recorded in Zoom. So we want to thank you again. We'll make sure that you get those links. Thank you for stepping up your bravery. We enjoyed that. I just want to say to Michelle the first time. And if the tellers want to say anything to each other, you're welcome to say anything that you like to each other. Bless
you all. It was fun being on this program with all the women. It felt like a very natural place for me. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We have some things that we want to share with you to make sure that you know about the next Butterfly, as well as some of the other things we're doing at Perkins. And I'm going to ask actually Kara Buss, who is our executive director, to maybe share some words with you as well.
Thank you so much. So first I want to say thank you to Oba, Namisha, Michelle, and Janice. Thank you so much. What a wonderful evening. Each one of your stories really resonated with me in so many ways. And I know that it resonated with so many people watching. I think that's the beauty of storytelling. I think it's the beauty of the arts, that it connects us all. And although we all come from different places and different backgrounds and different histories and different ethnographies and all of that, that we have a common thread and we have a common bond.
Yes.
This platform, I think, is one of the beauties of what Perkins does. And certainly we are so blessed to have Queen Noor with us and leading this.
Absolutely.
Effort.
Yay-bo.
Yes.
Yay-bo. Yes.
She's not called Queen for nothing.
Exactly. We're so blessed to have her spearheading this for Perkins and bringing this into our communities, because now more than ever, it's such an important thing for us to find common ground and to find common purpose and to find the intrinsic beauty in one another. And that is where these stories lie, and that is where the arts are. It is what brings us together. It's how we connect. It's who we are. It's how we find one another. It's how we become better human beings.
We are connected. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, can we do that, Oba?
Wow.
Can we do that?
Can we do We're Connected?
We're connected, yeah.
Oh, it's a drum.
That's
gonna mess up.
That's not the drum. Just sing it. We're connected.
Okay, I'll say the words. Now there's a part where you guys say connected. The ancestors said to play my drum. Play for you this African sound. Find a rhythm to clap your hands. We are connected to the elements. I go like leaves to the trees, connected. Like sand to the beach, connected. Like stars in the sky, connected. Yes, you and I are connected. Like heat from the sun, connected. A hand on a drum, connected. All birds with wings, connected. Yes, everything is connected. Like grass to the ground, connected. Black, white, and brown, connected. All connected. Yes, everything is connected. The ancestors said, we are connected.
Yay. Thank you so much, Oba. Thank you, Karaba. There's some tellers that are on watching. Gwendolyn Napier's on. She'll be here for Dreams, which is our next one. Kunamu, we would love for you to come and tell. So Sandra Williams-Bush, we have Sharon Holly, we have tellers, storytellers. Anybody that's here can tell. You can be just at home. And this is community storytelling. So you don't have to be a professional storyteller to come and tell. Just come and share our stories. We've had many people from the community share our stories since we've been doing this. The way that you sign up is you go to our website, and that'll come up in a few minutes, but you go to our website, and on our website, you'll see a call for tellers, a call application, and you fill out that application, and that's how we get you to tell. Perkins is alive and well. We're doing many things. And Michelle, I know that you went to I heard that you showed up at the salsa piece that was for the Black Lives movement. It was statement and fund development for that, I believe. But the spaces were squared off. And so thank you for coming, Michelle, to that. And you can find all of this information and what we're doing. As a matter of fact, another thing that's going to happen between late tonight and tomorrow is the first podcast will go up for Upon Our Authority. We have some storytellers, but we have scholars that we'll be interviewing and administrators. And so it'll be a 12-session podcast, and it'll start going live within the next 2 days, because August 26th is a big celebration for New Jersey in terms of that ratification of the 19th Amendment. But you can find out all of this information about Perkins by visiting our Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on, what else are we on?
Instagram and
LinkedIn. And then there's our website. And then we also have a YouTube channel. We're going to say good night, everyone. And again, thank you, tellers. Y'all were wonderful, fabulous, off the hook, off the chain. Love y'all.